All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Herodens, President of Enbridge Gas, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to our Markham Technology and Operations Center, or as we as Enbridge Gas call it, the TOC. It's also home to North America's first hydrogen blending facility and power-to-gas plant. I'd like to thank you all for being here today and quickly acknowledge a few people by name. Billy Pang, the Provincial Member of Parliament for Markham Unionville, Leslie Gallinger, President and CEO of the Independent Electricity System Operator, and the Honourable Todd Smith, Ontario's Minister of Energy. Enbridge Gas is very pleased to host you and all of today's guests here at the TOC. And as we gather together, I'd like to take this time to acknowledge that the land that we come together on today is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We recognize and respect the historic connection to and the harmonious stewardship by the Indigenous peoples over this shared land, and we've learned that what we do today impacts the next 7 generations. As such, we have a responsibility to preserve and care for the land, learn from her original inhabitants, and move forward together in the spirit of healing, reconciliation, and partnership. And now, before I invite Minister Smith to the podium to say a few words, I'd like to share a quick observation. The Minister and I interact quite regularly, and I really do appreciate his focus on ensuring Ontarians continue to benefit from reliable, resilient, cost-effective, and sustainable energy. It's certainly a passion we both very much have in common. Now, please help me welcome Minister Smith.
Well, thanks very much, Michelle. It's great to be with you this morning. It's great to see so many folks here from across the energy sector. Thanks for joining us today. It's a beautiful day here in Markham. The sun is shining brightly. It's about, 15 degrees, and we're fresh off a Toronto Maple Leafs season opening victory last night. Austin Matthews on pace to score 246 goals this year after the hat trick last night. So life is good today here in Markham and in the GTA. We're here at Enbridge, obviously, as Michelle has introduced us, and we're taking the next step to securing Ontario's place in this growing hydrogen economy. First, though, I do want to take this opportunity as well to recognize a few of those who have joined us here today. My good colleague from Markham Unionville, the MPP, Billy Pang, is with us here today, as has been mentioned. A councillor from Markham, Andrew Keys, is here today. Great to have you, Andrew, joining us today on behalf of Mayor Scarpitti and the team at Markham City Hall. Leslie Gallinger, we work so closely together with the Independent Electricity System Operator. She's the President and CEO, and we'll hear from her in just a couple of minutes. A fact which I'm sure comes as no surprise to anybody who's here is how much our province and our country are growing. Last year, Ontario welcomed more than 500,000 newcomers to our province and to places like Markham. It's a trend that we expect to continue through this decade as we build at least 1.5 million new homes so that people have a safe and affordable place to call home. At the same time, businesses and job creators are choosing Ontario thanks to our competitive business environment. And with that growth comes new energy demands. That's where I come in. Ontario's lucky to be a world leader. We have one of the cleanest electricity grids in the entire world. But what makes our system so resilient is the diversity of our energy supply. From nuclear to hydroelectric, natural gas to renewable resources, every part of our energy sector is playing a part in supporting our growth. But with investors and job creators looking to invest in jurisdictions with access to reliable and clean energy, we need to continue to forge ahead with the newest technologies and opportunities available to us. And that's why in April of last year, I released Ontario's first ever low-carbon hydrogen strategy. Our government's plan to develop a hydrogen economy, one that will create good-paying jobs, attract groundbreaking investments to our province, and also lower emissions in Ontario. And we're steadily working towards that reality. Made in Ontario hydrogen technology is already being used to power projects around the world, such as transit buses, heavy-duty trucks, and the world's first hydrogen train. We're also working with Ontario Power Generation, the good folks at OPG and Atura Power, to develop the Niagara Hydrogen Centre. It's going to be the province's largest production facility of low-carbon hydrogen. And this project would increase the amount of low-carbon hydrogen produced in Ontario by 8-fold, taking advantage of previously unused water at the Sir Adam Beck Generating Station in Niagara. And while we've made incredible progress so far, I know that even more cutting-edge, clean energy initiatives will be made possible through our new Hydrogen Innovation Fund. That's why we're here today, talking about the Hydrogen Innovation Fund. Over the next 3 years, we're investing $15 million to develop projects that will facilitate the integration of hydrogen into the province's electricity system and broader economy, and cement Ontario's position as a clean manufacturing hub. Today, I'm pleased to share the first 6 recipients of the Hydrogen Innovation Fund and the exciting work that they're doing. Here in Markham, through an investment of more than $1.7 million, Enbridge is harnessing the power of hydrogen right behind us. Enbridge will utilize a combined heat and power system that would normally run off natural gas, but will now run off a blend of natural gas and hydrogen, all the way up to 100% hydrogen, significantly reducing emissions and powering their operations. Emerald Energy from Waste in Brampton is receiving more than $2.9 million for a new facility that will produce hydrogen from waste to fuel heavy-duty vehicles while testing its ability to respond in real time to electricity system use, such as using electricity to make hydrogen at periods of low demand. Carlson Energy Solutions is receiving about $1.9 million for a new electrolyzer, providing electricity grid services and supplying a hydrogen fueling station in Port Elgin, not too far from the Bruce Nuclear Facility. They're also receiving $500,000 for their Godrich and Seaforth locations to study using off-peak electricity to produce hydrogen for power generation and ammonia for fertilizer. Kinetrix is receiving $250,000 to study the feasibility of integrating hydrogen production, hydrogen power generation, and a hydrogen fueling station. And finally, the University of Windsor is receiving $130,000 from the Hydrogen Innovation Fund to research the potential of low-carbon hydrogen produced with wind to provide grid services to support the greenhouse sector, which is so huge down in Windsor, Essex. Together, these projects represent $7.5 million in funding that will be critical to exploring the role that hydrogen can play in our clean energy future. So congratulations to each of the recipients on this exciting milestone. A number of them are here today for this announcement, and I look forward to the successful completion of these projects. And I know that your work is going to play an important role in the future of Ontario's hydrogen economy. So thanks for being here. Thanks for your innovation. And I'll turn it over now to Leslie Gallinger. Leslie is the President and CEO of the Independent Electricity System Operator.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the introduction, Minister Smith. I'd like to thank everybody for being here today to announce some of the successful projects for the Hydrogen Innovation Fund. As you're all aware, Ontario is in the midst of an energy transformation. Decarbonization requires us to find new and innovative ways of meeting Ontario's energy needs. The IESO's Pathways to Decarbonization report showed that in order to achieve a fully decarbonized grid, we need contributions from existing non-emitting resources, but also from new and emerging technologies. As the system operator, the IESO is facilitating this transformation in an orderly and thoughtful way. And understanding how these new technologies can contribute will be critical. As Ontario works towards achieving a low-carbon energy future, one of the fuels that shows considerable promise is hydrogen. Through this fund, the IESO is investigating, demonstrating, and evaluating how hydrogen technologies can be integrated into Ontario's electricity system. We were pleased to see the fund attract significant interest. More than 25 applications were submitted. The successful projects are looking at how to reliably integrate hydrogen technologies into the grid and how to support the development of a hydrogen economy. We're at the site of one of these projects today. Enbridge will be blending hydrogen with natural gas, looking at the impact that that has on large gas turbines. 3 other projects, Emerald Energy, Carlson Energy Solutions, and Kinetrix, will explore how hydrogen electrolyzers can provide electricity grid services while producing hydrogen for industrial and commercial vehicles. And the last 2 projects being announced today are looking at hydrogen and agriculture. The University of Windsor is researching how hydrogen can support Ontario's greenhouses, and Carlson Energy Solutions is looking at using hydrogen to support the grid while making ammonia for fertilizer. Right now, Ontario's electricity system accounts for about 3% of economy-wide emissions. When produced using Ontario's clean electricity, hydrogen can provide a path forward for decarbonizing other sectors while delivering grid benefits and economy-wide emissions reductions. Hydrogen shows considerable potential, but is still in its very early stages. Through this fund, the IESO is looking forward to exploring this resource further. In closing, I want to congratulate all of the successful proponents and would like to thank Minister Smith for his support in this important step to decarbonize our system and the economy. Thank you once again. And I'd now like to welcome Billy Pang, MPP for Markham Unionville, up to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie, for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. It's a great morning. The temperature and the wind just right for this occasion, and it's wonderful to have you all here in the riding of Markham Unionville at Enbridge. Ontario's important and valuable player in the energy sector. Ontario, and indeed our own Markham Unionville, are experiencing unprecedented growth. As we strive to build more new homes, it is essential that we continue to solidify Ontario as a leader in the emerging hydrogen economy. This is why I'm so pleased to be working with Minister Smith to accelerate the province's low-carbon hydrogen economy with new funding that will leverage Markham's talent, infrastructure, and resources. I also want to congratulate Enbridge. I'm thrilled that your team is receiving the funding. Funding is very important, right? So that will help drive the job creation and economic growth across Markham, while supporting Ontario's growing electricity grid. Alongside Enbridge, 5 other exceptional projects will benefit from our support, and I want to congratulate all the recipients on receiving the funding. Your groundbreaking work will undoubtedly play a very important role in shaping the future of Ontario's low-carbon hydrogen economy. So let's celebrate innovation, job creation, and a sustainable future for Markham Unionville and Ontario. Thank you. And I would like to invite Michelle again, come back to the podium.
Well, thanks, MPP Hank. Enbridge Gas is very excited about the support we'll be receiving from the Hydrogen Innovation Fund, and I'd like to thank the IESO and the Ministry of Energy for this vote of confidence in our project. I couldn't think of a more perfect place for today's announcement. Our Markham facility is already one of Ontario's hydrogen innovation hubs. In partnership with Cummins, we've been generating green hydrogen using electricity from Ontario's clean grid here since 2018. And since January of 2022, we've been blending that hydrogen into the natural gas we delivered to 3,600 nearby customers. As I said earlier, and as you can see from the signage behind us, these are both firsts in North America, and now we'll be adding a third to that list. As you just heard, with the support of the Hydrogen Innovation Fund and with the help of our partners 2G Energy and CEM Engineering, we'll be introducing a combined heat and power system to this facility. That system will be able to supply over 90% of the electricity for TOC's main building right behind us here, and we'll be reusing the system's residual heat to heat the building's water as well. Waste not, want not, as our grandparents were fond of saying. This CHP system will be able to run, as you've heard earlier, on 100% hydrogen, 100% natural gas, or a combination of the two. And it'll be able to switch between energy sources in just minutes, making it an efficient and reliable way to reduce emissions. Our ultimate goal is for the system to run on 100% hydrogen. And when it's doing that, it'll be like taking close to 30 passenger vehicles off the road every year in terms of greenhouse gas emission reductions. We're such believers in this mature technology that we're stepping up to showcase it right here in our own facility. We want to demonstrate that this is a viable and resilient way to green the building sector, which is the second largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in Ontario. So while this project is small in scale, its implications are impressive. We're excited to continue leading the way on hydrogen in Ontario, and we're hopeful this project will open the door for similar ones across the province. As Ontario's energy transition continues to take shape, one thing is already clear. We'll need more innovation and collaborative solutions like this one. Thanks again for joining us today, and we look forward to coming together again to celebrate the next Hydrogen First. Thank you.